as we move forward, at the end of last week, there was a big announcement made that I'm not going to steal the sonic boom from this announcement. I'm going to leave that to our next guest. So joining Michael Patrick Shiels on the DTE Energy desk is going to be our Senator Kevin Hertel. We look forward to hearing about the cool things you've got percolating that we might learn more about yet this week. So, Mike.
I guess in about an hour you're going to walk outside on this porch, and what will happen?
Well, we're going to see a really important bill signing, I hope, by the governor for $152 million for Selfridge Air National Guard base. And this builds on the $60.3 million that we've already put into that base towards this project to make sure we are doing everything we can here in the state of Michigan for the new fighter mission that will arrive in 2028.
Why do you say you hope the governor will sign it?
Well, I don't want to ever be too presumptive, right? So until that ink is on the page.
Really?
But the governor, you got to remember the governor committed to this project in 2022. We've been working with her administration and our federal partners on this since then. So I'm very confident, but I never say anything is done till it's done.
I see. Well, that's very diplomatic of you, but the crowd will be gathered. I don't think you're going to disappoint anyone, especially working on it for that long. Let's go back to the beginning then, for somebody who might be watching or listening for the first time. What goes on out there at Selfridge?
So Selfridge has been there for over 100 years now. It is one of the first Air Force bases here in the country. And there's no doubt that over the last few decades, we have had to do everything we can to fight to keep that base. Right now, we are turning a page where we are not fighting just to keep that base. We are talking about huge opportunities to expand what happens at that base. Oh. And the critical part, not only for my region, it's important to my area. It's important to the entire state of Michigan, though, as well. $850 million of economic activity come from that base, 30,000 jobs from that base, and all of those numbers have the potential to grow with this new investment.
How does that money, that sounds like a lot of money, in the scheme of things, I guess. How does it get out?
It's all in our local economy, right? All of the folks that are stationed there that have jobs that are tied to the base in civilian roles, and then all of the research and development that happens. And I think the biggest untold story about this investment is the new investments that are going to come not only to Macomb County, but to Oakland County, the Tri-County area, as well as across the state, because of what's happening at Selfridge today. This new mission is going to bring so much opportunity, and we have the ability to grow our defense sector here in Michigan by a ton. And I think we've got a great group of bipartisan legislators, both at the state level and in our congressional delegation, who are working to make sure that happens. And I don't want to bury the lead. I think it's really important that we focus on the bipartisan work that was done to get this project across the finish line. In a time of very divisive politics, we've been able to come together over multiple budget years to get this done.
What is the mission? What will it be?
It's an F-15EX fighter mission, which, for years Michigan has gone after different platforms, whether it was the F-35 or other, F-16. But the F-15EX is a versatile plane. It will be in use for a long time. This solidifies a mission at Selfridge for decades to come. And we're also getting some new refuelers to replace the old ones on the base as well. And so it's a really exciting time for that base. You're talking about over $1 billion of investment over the next 3 to 4 years at that base, which is incredible given for years we were talking about just trying to protect what we have. Now we're actually growing it.
What's the competition? Other states, other bases?
And I'll tell you, there are other states that are very upset right now because of the way that the president awarded this mission to Selfridge. When our generals go out to the Pentagon, they're hearing it from other states. Because it is so competitive right now, there's only so many planes. And the time that it takes to build new planes is a long process. And so states all over the country are fighting to have these on the cement at their bases. And that's why it's so important that Michigan, from a bipartisan perspective, the governor going to the White House and advocating for this, with the Speaker of the House and all of our federal counterparts, as well as legislators here in the state, working together to get this done, because we are up against a lot of other states. If you go down to Huntsville, Alabama right now, and seeing what they are building in the defense space, I drove through Huntsville not long ago. Every corporate chain you could think of is building locations. There are houses being built everywhere. The economy is booming because of the defense spending. And a lot of that stuff they were trying to take or have taken from Michigan. We need to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect what we have here and grow and compete with states like Alabama.
So the idea that the president, commander-in-chief, would direct a mission into a purple state that he wants to curry favor with is nothing new, right?
I think there's always some politics to it. There's no doubt about it.
Forever
You
it's
have
been
to
that
use that to your advantage, right? I think this president and any future president sees the importance of Michigan, and hopefully they see the importance of this base staying here in Michigan. And so I think we can make this case to any administration, but we are thankful that this president saw the need here in Michigan and made this significant investment.
Does the historical element help?
I think so. You know, it's one of the largest Air National Guard bases left anywhere in the country. It is an expansive piece of property, which makes it unique compared to other National Guard facilities all across the country. But that uniqueness is what makes it so great and has so much potential for investment.
They ever put you up in one of those airplanes?
I never have been in one, and I don't know if I'd be able to do it, to be honest.
I know I wouldn't. I've watched the videos, and usually within the first 2 minutes, the person either gets sick or faints.
The G-forces, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's incredible, and I have a hard time on a roller coaster, so I would probably have a pretty hard time on one of those.
But we're glad they're here anyway, nevertheless.
That's right.
And I often think about, you know, compared to people who served in the military, I ain't been nowhere and I ain't done nothing. And we honor them, and to have those types of people in your community, right? They're good citizens, right?
Well, I think one thing to note right now is there are a significant amount of individuals from that base that are deployed overseas today, right? And it's something that you know, we don't always see, but I've had a chance to meet with some of the families of folks who are deployed, spend time with the community organizations that are helping those families right now. It is very difficult for any family who is going through that. And we have to recognize that. And that's why this was so important, that this project not only got done for economic reasons, and it's really important to all of our communities, but it shows our commitment to the men and women who are serving at that base, who put their lives on the line to make sure that our freedoms are protected. And that is incredibly important. We just obviously went through Memorial Day weekend where we had some time to pause and think about the sacrifices that so many have made so that we can live in this wonderful free country. But that's happening every single day across many communities. But with a base like that right in your backyard, I drive down I-94 all the time. I've passed that base hundreds of times throughout my life. And you don't always think about the direct impact that it has on our region, but also the individuals who are serving there. And there's no housing really on Selfridge. So those individuals live in our communities all around the base.
Huh. So born into this endeavor that you have right now, is it everything that it's cracked up to be? Are you satisfied?
I think we have a challenge right now with people that are trying to fit, they're trying to govern by talking points, and those talking points are becoming smaller and smaller to try to fit in a smaller window to get people's attention. And the problems that we have to solve are difficult. They're not all partisan, some of them are, but they need people that are willing to actually come to the table, have real conversations, and do the hard work to actually get things done. And I think that's a trait we're seeing less and less with folks who are running for elected office today. Just in the 10 years that I've spent in the legislature, I started in the House in 2017, it has changed an awful lot.
Wow.
And it has not changed for the better. You know, folks are not working together like they have in the past. They're not coming together. And I think that's why something like this conference is very important. The theme, obviously, is about bringing people together and finding common ground. But if we're going to solve the issues like education, a lagging business investment here in the state, real housing costs and the price of housing that are affecting so many, we're going to have to come together as elected officials, put partisanship aside, and actually solve the problems. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to get everything they want. In fact, you usually end up somewhere in the middle, and that's how you know you got a good product. People need to get back to being able to compromise and work together, and really pay less attention at the letter that's next to somebody's name, whether that's a D or an R or independent, but really focus on the issue that needs to be solved, because there's no doubt that all of our communities are struggling with things that need to be fixed right now, and we need to be able to do the work to fix them.
But with all due respect, you could take what you just said and put it last year and the year before and the year before at this conference. But you say it's getting worse.
Look, in the time that I've been in the legislature, it's become more challenging to find people to come together, find common ground, and get things done. And that's happened on the national landscape as well. I am a believer that we're going to get to a better place where more people are going to come to the legislature and elected roles to solve problems. But that takes a lot of work, and people have to put in the time and actually figure it out. I grew up in a family where that's the work that they did. They wanted to come to the table, actually find solutions and solve problems. It's the only way that I know how to do my job. I still think it's doable. You just need people that are willing to actually do it.
Well, the shared power situation, of course, was quite famous. Will you be speaking at the bill signing?
I will be.
What will you say?
Well, I think a lot of what we talked about here. I mean, you're going to hear from local leaders, County Executive Mark Hackle and others that will talk about the local economic impact that this has. I really want to focus on, celebrating the fact that we were able to get this done. We were able, to what we just talked about, and you can still find glimmers of hope of bipartisanship and getting things done. I think this is a perfect example of that. And you have to remember, this is a significant investment. $152 million in a balanced budget is not a small amount. Legislators from all across the state have their priorities that they want to focus on, but we were able to help folks understand that this is a critical investment that has to get done. It does help that it draws down a $850 million investment from the federal government as well. So it just makes mathematical sense. But I really want to focus on the celebration of coming together, getting this work done, and delivering not just for the region, but for the entire state of Michigan.
Congratulations, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Michael Patrick.
And thank you for spotlighting the bipartisan effort, too.
We got to get more done.
Maybe we'll get there.
Thank you. I think we will.